This is the Bill Collector, where I'm Bill, and I'm a collector. How's it going? Nice, very nice Wednesday today. By the way, 420. You know what 420 means, son? It means it's the Hitman's birthday today. You know who the Hitman is? Well, for me, it was the other first baseman in baseball. And to many, it was the first baseman in baseball. Don Mattingly was the shit when I was growing up. And I don't even know if anybody really knows this, but there was a time when Will Clark and Don Mattingly were about that close to being switched up. So happy birthday, Hitman. You a damn fine player. And I guess while I'm on it, I'm just going to show you a couple of pieces that I made of Don Mattingly. This is card art, where we take baseball cards or other sports cards, hack them up, make something else out of them. And that'll lead me into kind of the first thing I'm going to talk about. Now, maybe I should be making more of an emphasis on this when I'm doing this program, but I'm an artist. I'm a visual artist. I paint. I do some graphic design. I make a lot of stuff. And so a lot of my stuff is just out there in the world. And I've made a lot of friends in the collecting / art community. And this is where my guys got my back, dude. So I get a DM from just one of the social medias that I'm on. And my buddy's like, hey, dude, I think this guy's selling your design on some hats. And I had made a, God, I don't know, about 5 years ago, this Don Mattingly graphic. And I do it in a way to where I can take these drawings once I've processed them, and I can make them into a one color type graphic. So let's say, like, all right, that is one of those type drawings, and you can make decals out of them, you can make stencils out of them, and so anyways, there's a processing that goes on. And needless to say, I've been selling these Hitman hats for a little bit, and somebody saw it and they decided they liked it, and they decided they're going to start selling hats on their own. Now, I've never had to deal with this before because, I'm not a world-renowned artist. And so, I approached the person that was doing this, and let's just say that it turned out to be pretty easy in handling the situation. And I'm just gonna accept the fact that the guy said it was an honest mistake, because he really did make it about as easy as possible to square up on that situation. So there are good people out there in the world. Like I said, he said it was an honest mistake. And with, like I said, the ease at which we took care of it, I'm just going to take his word for it. And he has since then directed everything my way. So thanks, dude, for being an honest guy. And, sometimes things happen. So there's that. And here's a funny thing. The lady that bought a hat, one of the people that bought the hat from me, she ends up in the front row at Yankee Stadium on TV with the hats on, and then the hats are out the next day. So timing is everything. But once again, we handled it perfectly fine, and he's a customer of mine now as well. So that's pretty cool. couldn't have been any easier. Now, this next situation I'm going to talk about is like wow to me. I can't believe that this is really happening. All right. Now, I had made mention on a episode before that I'll just come out and say it. I had made a deal with the Buck Leonard Association, I believe it is. And if you don't know who Buck Leonard is a Hall of Fame baseball player in the MLB Hall of Fame, and he was a Negro League player, and he played side by side with Josh Gibson at a time, and they were known as the Thunder Twins. And his surviving family is trying to keep his legacy alive, and made a deal to get 300 of my coloring books with him on the cover that I had kind of adapted to their foundation. So their logos, their sponsors, everything that you do on that stuff. And so I'm out here in, we'll just call it the Los Angeles area, and they are in North Carolina. So we have 300 pieces of print material sent via UPS out to North Carolina. And I got somebody waiting for these packages out there. It's not like they're just going to be sat somewhere. I have somebody waiting for this stuff. And so box number 1 gets there, and I sent them all the same day. So box number 1 arrives. That's the smaller of the 3 boxes. Then a couple of days later, another box arrives, one of the bigger boxes, and that box has been ripped open. And after counting, 96 pieces of 130 pieces in the box were stolen. And then somehow the third box ended up all the way back into California and back into my mailbox. Now, the part that gets me is, why would you even deliver the box if your hands are all up inside it? It's almost like it's easier to explain if a box just doesn't get delivered. It's harder to explain when the box is delivered, but more than half the contents from within the box are missing. And this is the USPS that I'm dealing with. Like, one of their employees thought it was a good idea to take something and still deliver the damn package. I mean, it's unbelievable. And so, I'm just crying the blues, artist blues. I'm an independent artist. And so, man, I really need things to go as smooth as possible because, they just need to. And when you're paying for a service, you just expect things to get there. That's kind of tragic because the Buck Leonard, they're trying to get these things out to kids. Like I said, they're trying to promote the legacy of their family member who is in the Major League Hall of Fame. And this just happened to be the first time they'd ever spent money on marketing. I think we'll get that taken care of. Now, I just mentioned, as an artist, I have all kinds of resources that I pull from, books, internet, and everything on the internet. But when I was a kid, I used to literally know what I know about the player from the back of a baseball card. And the baseball card provides us, or you, whoever's looking at it, with statistics, and these statistics are when I was a kid, that was the only statistics I thought there was in baseball. How many doubles you had, your batting average, your slugging, those stats. And then as I've gotten older, it's like WAR and OPS and all the stats that are within the stats, okay? And for me, as an artist, I use statistics in my artwork. Um, Whether I just blatantly paint a statistic on there, or I'm like weaving the statistic or the information behind and in front of the textures on the canvas. And one of the places that I found that was very, very, very helpful in regards to finding, like I said, the stats within the stats is a site called baseballreference.com. And I'm sure if you're a baseball fan, you've employed that site for one reason or another. But me, I am on that site every single day to look up one statistic or another regarding one player or another. And we're talking about stuff like, you can, all right, let's say you want to find out what a batter is doing against a specific pitcher. You can find it. You want to see what the batter's splits are between night and day games. It's on there. I mean, things like when they were drafted, that isn't always on a baseball card, or let's say their nickname. Because to me, there's the player, and then there's the person that the player is. And for me, that's way more important than the baseball player, because these guys have lives. These guys came from somewhere. They have families. They have things that they were inspired by. They have favorite players and just everything. It's pretty cool to get to know who the person is that's, that superstar that you're looking up to as a kid. And like I said, the back of the baseball card was always a place that I went to when I was younger to find this information. So if you haven't been to baseballreference.com, I do it because it's about as, I think it's updated daily. And so it kind of gives you that one place to check out the stats. So I've made mention, and I'll make mention a bunch of times. Look at this. Look at all this Giant stuff. I'm a Dodger fan. And so right now, at this point in my life, and Will Clark hasn't been on the Giants since, 1993? I don't follow here. The only reason I ever followed the Giants post Will Clark days was to find out what scrub was wearing number 22. That was it. And I believe 22 scrubs wore that number beyond Will Clark. And so them retiring it was long overdue. Okay, back. So yeah, baseball reference and all that stuff. It's a pretty cool site if you want to look at anything that's like I said, stats beyond the stats. All right. And so right now, the person I have under the microscope right now is Cody Bellinger. My favorite player is Clayton Kershaw. And then, my favorite younger player is Cody Bellinger. And he's had a rough couple of seasons. But, when I went on Baseball Reference the other day, I noticed that, the 1 year was the strike year. I think that was 2020. And then 2021, the kid was injured. And so in 2020, Cody Bellinger had come off his shoulder surgery because he was getting the separated shoulders. Okay, so that year, 2020, I mean, come on, dude. I don't know. I've never had surgery, but I've broken plenty of bones, and you're never really the same after it. All right. So then, boom. So short season 2020, coming off the shoulder surgery. And then in 2021, I mean, was it within the first couple of weeks of the season, he has his leg broken. So then the rest of the season he's playing, recovering from a broken leg. All right. Take that. We'll scrunch all the games that he played between those 2 years, and they end up being less than a full season, 162 game season. And it wasn't great, but within that, like I said, combined 2 seasons that equal about 1 season, still had over 20 home runs. He still had 60 something RBIs, and it wasn't underperforming season for Cody Bellinger. But there's this aura that I'm feeling that he's done, that Cody Bellinger is done. Are you kidding me? That's a 26-year-old man. Hasn't even entered the prime of his life. And hence, what we have going on with Cody Bellinger this year is looks like he's might be swinging the bat a little bit better. All right. And so that's my guy. That's who I'm checking the statistics for every single day. Like I used to do with Will Clark. Funny, because back then it was the newspaper. You had to get the newspaper in the morning, but that's what we did. At least I did it. And I used to suck at math. Trust me, I kind of still do suck at math. But it was the calculating of statistics in baseball that kind of gave me a better understanding of numbers. How to get to a batting average, easy. How to get to the slugging percentage, easy. Now, all these other things, all the WAR and the OPS, we'll leave that for the nerds and the statisticians and the sabermetrics gods, because I don't want no part of that. So, baseballreference.com. If you're looking for the numbers within the numbers, go check that place out, because it offers a lot of information that you may want. All right. So I did go to baseballreference.com yesterday. And yesterday to check out some Will Clark stats. And it's been a while since I went this deep into it, but I wanted to see how many at-bats against every pitcher he ever faced. All right. From the guys he had 80 appearances to the guys he had just one appearance. And when I went into that, so all right, so you type the player's name and then your player's page will pop up. And then the first part's like I said, like a baseball card. It's the general information, the heights, weights, college they went to, biographical information. Then kind of over to the right, it'll give the numbers on each team that they play for that they wore. Then kind of scroll down, and it gives you like the baseball card breakdown, at bats, all the stuff going across. And like I said, I specifically wanted to see what his batting average was against Roger Clemens. And so then I get down there, and you scroll kind of far down on the page, and there's like, I think it's a section that says batting splits. And then it's like in the middle of your options, there's the batter versus pitcher. So I click on that. And I didn't notice right off the bat, because I know that he only played against Roger Clemens from 94 to 98. And so I knew that wouldn't be a lot of at-bats. So I scroll down and I find how many at-bats he had against Roger Clemens. And so here goes Will Clark's stats against Roger Clemens. This is pretty awesome, dude. So Will Clark played, was it from 94 to 98? in the AL, not in the AL. 94 to 98 on the Rangers, and then a couple years on the Orioles. So in his at-bats against Roger Clemens, he had 20 at-bats. In those 20 at-bats, he had 8 hits, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. That's a whopping 400 batting average against the legend, Roger Clemens. He had a 556 on-base percentage and a 1.406 OPS. So let's just say Will Clark owned Roger Clemens in their showdowns, and that's pretty awesome. Roger Clemens, well, I'm not going to say he's a Hall of Fame pitcher, even though he's a Hall of Fame pitcher. But Will Clark actually, he was pretty good against the best pitchers in the league. And matter of fact, against Nolan Ryan, he has more home runs against Nolan Ryan than any other player in history. And that just happens to be the most home runs he hit off a single pitcher in his whole career, and that was 6 dingers. So I'm not going to say he necessarily owned Nolan Ryan, but boy, did he know when that fastball was coming. And that's pretty strong. All right, well, I make mention on a regular basis that I have people looking out for me in the collecting world. And so, you know, this is just a corner of the space. And then the wall in front of me's got it, and then this wall goes that way. And a lot of the stuff that's within the collection now is from people within the social media world that you kind of build community with. And you know what a community is? It's people that are like likewise in what you're doing. These people know that I collect Will Clark. And what's cool about the era that I started collecting, which was, you know, from the mid 80s until, I don't know, Will Clark retired in 2000. That era of collecting is known as the junk wax era. And make a long story short, it's because they just overproduced so much of the stuff. But for me, the benefit of that is it's vast. The options are just plentiful. There's stuff that, needless to say, I will never know about. I mean, there's so much of it from the last episode I showed a book. It was like a book of coloring posters to color of a player. That's like unheard of today. Like today it's baseball cards. That's about what you get is baseball cards. When I was a kid, it was products and statues and action figures. And what I'm going to show you is something that I would have never, ever guessed. See, because right now what's happening is I just do general searches. Like, so when I'm trying to add to my collection and I'm looking for cards, I will literally, like if I'm on eBay, I will type in 1998 Will Clark baseball cards. And whatever from 1998 will pop up. And then I gotta, you know, so what I'll do is I'll build up my shopping cart with, see, I've looked at my cards so many times and arranged them and organized that stuff to the point where I kind of have a visual idea of what's in there. And when something makes me stop, you know, I'll like put it in my shopping cart. And then I got to break out the albums, and there's about 4 of them of baseball cards. And then I got to go in there and I look and see if I already have that, what's in my shopping cart. And then I delete, and then, like I said, so on and so forth. Because I've done it where I'm like, oh, I don't have that. And I just buy it, and then sometimes I have it. So I'm not like 100% knowledgeable of every single item that I have, but I have a pretty good idea. And now, because look, I have criteria in regards to what I collect. All right. Since I don't collect graded cards, that eliminates the graded card section for me. So I'm not gonna like buy a 1986 Will Clark Topps rookie card for 50, 60, whatever they're charging for those things in sweet condition. When I have 150 86 Topps, I don't need graded cards. So that eliminates a product that's something I'm not gonna buy. So like I said, that takes one thing away of Will Clark things that I'm not gonna get. And because I won't spend, more than $5 on a card, that eliminates a lot of stuff. So my options are going down on what I'm adding to the collection. And okay, so I'm just gonna get to it. My watchdogs are out there. They know I collect Will Clark, and when they're doing their I don't know, shopping or window shopping or just scouring the web for whatever it is, they will, if they see something that maybe I don't have or whatever, even if I have it, they don't know. So like, hey, Bill, do you got this? And so one of the things I just didn't even think of collecting was pennants. And pennants are pretty rad, you know what I'm saying? Like, and when you go into it, holy smokes, there's a whole community of people that are pennant collectors, okay? And we're talking about, pennants have been being made for forever. And so the guy, I'll just say his name is Greg. He's a San Francisco Giants fanatic and an artist friend of mine, and a friend of mine from the things that we do: baseball art, baseball history, and all that. So he's like, "Hey man, this person is selling a couple Will Clark pennants, and do you got them?" And I didn't, because I don't have a single pennant. Now, I will show. I'm just literally, I got them today, and so it's mail day 3, and we'll show them to you. So the first one, this is Will Clark. Dude, this thing is so awesome. Holy crap! And the artist name is Stark. And all right, well, here we go. Damn, that is so fresh. Dude. Look at that. Sick. Cool caricature. Like I said, the artist name is Stark. I've seen this guy's art before. But look, there you go. Clark, 22. Retired. Long time coming, like I said. So, friends out there in the collecting world, I appreciate you for keeping your eyes open. I would have never known that this was out there. I kind of like, I've said it. I'm kind of in a little collecting hiatus right now, and I gauge that by, I have shit to put away. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I haven't organized the items that I have fully, then I say welcome. I'll welcome the shit out of the stuff that you guys are going to send me. But regarding, me spending money looking for things, I'm not really doing that right now, because like I said, now I got to find a place to put these. If I don't have a place to put these, I don't really have a place to put anything else. And so, like I said, I'll take care of what I got first. And then when everything's in its place, boom, let the games begin. So like I said, until then, look, out of the, people send me stuff, and that's really bitching. All right, now the next one is Will Thrill as a Texas Ranger. I mean, look at this one's dope. Still has the I can just hang this on the wall with a tack. I mean, that's really, really easy. And cool, man. I'm super stoked, dude. I need to say thank you to this guy. I believe it was on a Facebook group that, like I said, that group is regarding pennants. And so if you're into it, go on sports pennants on Facebook. I mean, some of these pennants are like applique letters on there, like sewn on it. I mean, some of it's really beautiful stuff. These are screen printed, and they're gonna look great in the collection. All right, well, I showed you the coloring books from the other day, and within the package that my guy Josh sent me were 3 Beckett magazines. And so the first Beckett, classic photo with the Thrill and Boogie on the cover. And I've got this magazine a couple times. So this one isn't super, super special. Put these here. Another thing, I would have never thought on my own to check these magazines for anything. I mean, I've got the covers with Will Clark on it, but then within the magazine, there's more. So the reason Josh sent me this was because of the inner cover art. And this is 1991. Look at that. That is a badass piece of art. And so, Josh, dude, you the man. And, he's had these for a long time, and he sent it to me. Now, see this one right here? I don't care about breaking this this cover, so I'm probably going to cut that out and stick that in a frame, because that does me no good like this. That's Ozzy, that little dude right there from the fight that in 1987 he couldn't punch his way out of a wet paper bag. But this is all day round hoop. So anyways, that's one. And Ozzie Smith cover. That's February 1992, issue number 83 from Beckett Baseball Card Monthly. This one is issue number 57, December 1989, with old Ricky on the cover. And the reason he sent me this one was because of that art. Dude, look at that, man. That's so sick. I think I'm going to take that one out the same and put it in a frame. And I consider those 2 more pieces to the collection. Yeah. Now, there's a Facebook page for Will Clark collectors that I'm also a part of, or we'll say. And it's kind of cool to see the differences in how people collect. Now, there's guys that only collect the Giants years. I feel that if you're a Giants fan, why not? He's not a Giant anymore. I only collect Giants. He's gone. That's what I collect. And then there's people like me that I collect the whole career. And that's because Will Clark stayed my favorite player across the board. Then there's people that they collect the graded stuff. What I'm getting at is however you collect, if you're having fun doing it, then do it, you know. And somebody posed this question on Twitter yesterday, and they said if you're getting into the hobby for the first time, what are words of advice you would give somebody? So I'll just try and remember what I said. So if you're just getting into collecting, this is what I have to say. Number one, have fun with it. Like make it something that's fun. And then also try your hardest to keep it a hobby. Because look, if you think you're going to be a flipper, that's not a hobby. I don't really mess with flippers. I mess with collectors. That to me, that's different. To me, that's two different aspects of sports cards or trading cards. Is there's collectors and then there's flippers. So I'm not flipping anything. I don't buy things to sell them. I buy things to keep them in my collection. And but like I said, once again, it's all personal preference. But if you look up the definition of hobby, money isn't involved in a hobby, only actually spending money. But if you're turning your hobby into a business, it's a business now, it's not a hobby. So FYI. And that's kind of like why I collect still, is because it's a hobby. It's something fun to do. Spend my time doing it. Do some research, see what you don't have, see what you don't need. Trade with people, talk to people, and that's kind of like what art isn't for me 100% anymore, is a hobby, because people want stuff from me, and so it becomes like a little business, and so I can't always treat it like a hobby when, like I said, when I'm dealing with the USPS stealing my shit, or when I'm dealing with having to retrieve my intellectual, rights back, and so that's business stuff regarding art. And it's not complaining. I welcome the business aspect of art, but it's not 100% a hobby anymore. So that's how I treat my collection here. It's a hobby, something I do for fun, and there's not a dollar to be made doing this. It's a pastime for me. Like, it's something to do when there's nothing else to do. And art is, like I said, it's a responsibility / hobby now, So, in regards to, as I mentioned, the person borrowing my hat design for their own deal, well, because I had rectified that, now I need to make the hats. You see what I mean? So that's a job. That's the job aspect of being an artist. And look, like I said, I welcome it. It's the one thing I know how to do that I know I do well. And I believe everybody should have that thing, be confident in something. But if you're confident in something, it should be because you just spent a lot of time doing it and refining it and practicing and being out there and showing and all those things, I don't believe in blind confidence. I don't believe in confidence just because you're born. Like, if you're confident like that, it's because your mom told you that everything you did was bitching. That just ain't fucking true. I feel like kids need more doses of the truth. And Well, that comes from nurturing your kids, all right? Now, my mom is a creative person. My mom used creativity to keep me occupied. And then as a child, I was receptive to using making stuff as a way to, occupy your time and learn how to do something and be quiet. And fortunately for me, I've been able to keep that fire of creativity lit throughout my entire life, and more than ever as a 47-year-old man. And that's kind of where this little world that I made it comes from. I grew up playing baseball, and then at 10 I didn't play baseball anymore. I was a skater 100% until I was 15 or 16, and then I was back to baseball. And then the one constant thing that I didn't even realize until I was 30 years old getting a divorce was that I made art pretty consistently for a lifetime. And it was at that time when I needed something, I turned to art, and I made art my passion. And look, I'm not a millionaire from it, but every dollar I make from it is 100% earned from a lifetime of dedication. And everybody should have something that they're able to produce confidently from, and hopefully be able to feed yourself with it too. Now, the how I merge all that stuff together, the baseball, the skateboarding, and the art, is just that's the weird combination to me, is how to make something creative out of that. And it's easy with the baseball because I literally, it's like you watch the baseball every day, you're inspired by it. Like I said, Will Clark to me was I was phasing into something different in my teens, and something about Will Clark was like, fuck yeah, baseball's rad, dude, and I want to play baseball and I want to play like him. And like I said, then you get older, and the sports are a young man's game. So what are you gonna do with the rest of your life? And for me, I'm gonna make art till I die, and it's something that I want to do. I'm enthusiastic about it still. It's the one thing that I want to do every day. And like I said, I hope everybody can find something like that for themselves, because look, if I was as dedicated to art when I was a kid as I am now, I would have gotten a whole lot less trouble. We need something. I feel like a lot of human depression is linked to not doing something with your motor skills, and that being active, being creative, and just practicing something, doing something, like not TV. Like TV's cool when you need a little TV, but TV's not doing anything for your head. I'm not saying art is the be all end all, but it definitely helps keep my brain, from worrying about how messed up the world that we're living in is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not a drug either, so it's not destroying my body. Just critical thinking and practicing something. So anyways, that's about it. If you're watching, cool. If you're not, whatever. Just do something. You know what I'm saying? Just do something, and that's a great place to start. All right. I'm Bill. This is the Bill Collector. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.